Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is a quick video, inshallah, in which I will try to show you how to create your own Quranic vocabulary notebook. It's very important that we learn how to do that, and perhaps the most important thing that anyone must learn, anyone who wants to master any language, they must learn the words, the vocabulary of that language. And it takes a lifetime to work on one's vocabulary, but alhamdulillah, the words of the Quran are limited and they occur frequently. Some of the words occur thousands of times. And if we know what they mean, whenever we come across these words, we would be able to know the meaning. So we study few words, very limited number of words, and we will be able to understand the entire Quran. So I'm going to show you the steps now of how to create a notebook. First of all, get a notebook or an address book with ample white space. And then write one letter of the alphabet on each page. It's like a dictionary. I don't want you to create lists of words, but rather create a dictionary by writing one letter of the alphabet on each page of the pages of your notebook, and then add the new words you learned to the correct page, to the correct letter. So if the word starts with letter alif, for example, you would have to write it in the first page. Now make a word list in the last page of all the words. List all the words at the end. This is an example of how your vocabulary notebook would look like. As you can see here, there's the letter alif, and you would list the words that start with hamza. Sorry, this is called hamza. So the word al-akhirah, for example, starts with a hamza, and this here you can write the meaning, the hereafter. This is a translation, or you may write the definition of what the hereafter means. Here you can add things like synonyms, the last. This is what the word literally means, the last. But of course it is used in as a figure of speech for the next life. You may add other words, other synonyms. Here you might want to specify whether it's feminine or masculine, whether it's an adjective, what part of speech it is. What is an antonym for this word, ad-dunya, this dunya, al-hayat ad-dunya, where you learned this word, where you came across it, Surah al-Duha. You can write part of the verse also, وَلَلْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الْأُولَى, so you remember where you took this word from, where you learned it from. You can create your own example also to help you remember what the word means, and then you can add another word that also starts with the hamza, inna, indeed, verily. It's an article of emphasis. It comes from Surah Al-Kawthar, inna a'tainaka al-Kawthar. On the second page you can do the letter ba and then list all the words that start with a ba. This is done. This idea of this dictionary is done, and all the words, for example, the book entitled The Dictionary of the Holy Qur'an, they list all the words according to the letters. But I don't want you to have a dictionary that is ready. I want you to make your own dictionary, your own vocabulary of the surahs, the words that you study. That's how you remember them, by writing them down and reviewing them periodically. The word bakhila, it means withhold, miserly. It's a third person. Here it's in the past tense, it's masculine, it's singular. These are things that general information about the word that you can add. If you don't know this information, you can refer to the dictionary that I just mentioned, or you can ask your teacher. This word, as you can see, occurs in Surah Al-Layl, وَأَمَّا مَنْ بَخِلَ وَاسْتَغْنَى. So you would take it from there and put it here. At the end, as I mentioned, you can have a word list of all the words that you studied, inna a'tainaka, anzalnahu, bakhila, and so on. There are certain tips that you can observe as you are learning your vocabulary. First, review the words every day before you sleep and when you wake up. Go through the words and cover the definitions and try to test yourself whether you remember the meaning or no. Then test yourself periodically. Keep on doing this. Do it more than once. Just read. Sometimes it would really help to just read, not even test yourself. Just read what you have, the words that you have collected, the words that you have gathered in your notebook. Create index cards. Some people like to always, with the vocabulary notebook, they like to test themselves by creating flashcards or index cards where they write the word on one side and the definition on the other side, and they try to test themselves. And if it's right, they would write a check across the or next to the word, and then if they are right every time, they keep on adding checks until they take this card out, because that card is done. That means that they finished with it. And then create a notebook for word families. This needs a separate presentation, but you can create another book next to or besides your vocabulary notebook, a book in which you show or in which you have or build up on certain words. So for example, the word bakhila, you would write that the present tense is yabkhal, and the plural form of it is yabkhalu, and the feminine plural form of yabkhalu is yabkhalna, and so on. So you have one word and you build on it and make a word family of it. The related words also, you can do this in a map, in a mind map, for example, or any other form that you prefer. The very last thing I want to mention today is make your notebook your best friend. Make it your best friend. Keep it with you. Keep it under your pillow. I mentioned in the beginning that you should, before you sleep and after you sleep, these are critical times for the memory. The things that we do before we sleep and the things that we do after, just when we wake up, the mind is really fresh. Some scientists also say that if you want to remember something, if you wake up during the night, also look at it, and it will be very easy for you to remember it. And with that, inshallah, I thank you for being attentive, for listening, and for taking these tips into practice in advance. Jazakumullah khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.